Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning. We are back again, boys and girls, with another freaking video, and this one's something completely different. Fast food, fat profits, obesity in America, fault lines. So, let's not waste any more time, people. Let's not waste any more time. But of course, we're trying to get to that 8K by the end of the week. So if we can get it done, that would be nice. But with that being said, people, also make sure you like the video. And now let's play the damn thing.
So right after you eat these meals, you have energy. But the energy lasts a very short period of time, and you're hungry much sooner. And then you have to eat again, and then you have to eat again, and then you have to eat again.
It is a lot cheaper to go eat fast food. I mean, it definitely, you can buy a hamburger for cheaper than you can buy an apple.
That's very sad because you tell me I have to pay
Wow. I mean, that is quite fast though, still.
more in order to eat healthy, but I can pay less in order to get that and to make you rich or for something that I might die over.
It's unbelievable.
The poorest people in our country are the fattest people. We've done something completely wrong here.
Wow. This was 10 years ago. 10 years ago. The question is, what has changed within that timeline of the 10 years? You know what I mean? That's the main question, you know? But, let's find out.
On a Sunday afternoon,
okay.
in the New Orleans suburb, the Bucktown Seafood Festival is getting underway. Bucktown is a tiny fishing village that has been here for more than 150 years. It was almost completely destroyed by Hurricane Katrina in 2005, but it hasn't lost its touch for what it does best.
Food is a big part of the culture in New Orleans, and they tend to use a lot of deep-fried foods and heavy sauces. They'll tell you that while people in other places may eat to live, here, they actually live to eat.
Here, they actually live to eat.
In New Orleans, most of our food begins with what we call a roux. And a roux is a combination of flour and oil. And that's the basis for most of our sauces. And as a result, there's a lot of fat that's in the basic foods that we make, from the soups, the gumbos, to your etouffees.
How important is food to the culture down here?
It's what we live off of. Without you take the food away, and just city would die.
It's what we live off of. I mean, of course we live off food, but you know what? Let's just keep it going, man. Let me not troll.
It would. It's all about food and drink around here. You know, there's a certain way we do seafood. You know, there's a certain way we fry. I mean, like these guys behind us, the way they fry, the way we take whole onions, and you know, we fry all kinds of stuff and make it taste good with the extra spice and the extra kick.
That can't be good for you.
Nah, it can't be.
And they say white people don't know how to season their food, eh? These guys definitely know how to season their food. You know what I'm saying? They know how to put the spices there. You know what I mean? People have this tendency or this stereotype of, you know, white people only know how to use salt, just about, and pepper.
But it sure tastes good.
Have you ever seen anyone eat one of those?
You know, when I was younger, I used to be able to eat one. I couldn't touch a half of one now.
What's that?
It's a big sandwich.
The high-fat, deep-fried food culture here is delicious, but has deadly consequences.
If any of you know what that is, what is it? Comment right now. You know what I mean? Come on.
Look at our diabetes and high blood pressure and heart disease. Like, these are major killers.
Wendy O'Neill was born in New Orleans. After Katrina, she says, it's even more difficult to access good food.
It's definitely harder and harder to make food choices. I mean, just with having less time. I do a lot of fast food, and I actually hate fast food. I don't like the way it tastes, but I'll eat it because it's cheap and I can get it on the run.
I don't like it when people say that, man. Because it's cheap. What does that mean? You know what? I hate it more when people smoke and they say that I can't eat healthy because it's too expensive. Smoking is expensive. You know what I mean? Any type of smoking you're doing is expensive. Point blank, period. You know what I mean? Nah. I can't be having this. Nah. Or just move to a different state or country, whatever. No, I don't like it when people use money as an excuse, because I tell you this now, people. I started going to the gym and I got into good shape, okay, when I was living at home, okay, at my mom's house, right? And at that time, I had no job, no nothing. I was on benefits, you know what I'm saying, okay? I was eating off benefits, and benefits at the time was about, I think it was about £30 every 2 weeks, or it could have been £40 every 2 weeks, or something like that, okay? It wasn't nothing dramatic, okay? Listen, I had to make that money stretch, you know what I'm saying? And I was eating cheap, healthy stuff, you know what I mean? Whether it was just, at this time I was eating meat, because now I'm a vegan. Whether it was just like £1 little chicken, like you get these little things with just a little chicken in it, you just have that, you know what I mean? Or if it was like just tons of tins of tuna and salmon, you know what I mean? And just the lettuce and mushing it around, you know what I mean? Like, no, I made it work. I made it work with basically no money, technically. Don't tell me none of this thing about it's too expensive. Nah, don't give me none of that. Don't give me none of that.
Typical day for me. Let's see. McDonald's for breakfast, McDonald's for lunch, McDonald's for dinner. We ate McDonald's all the time. We ate the trashiest stuff.
For Sidney Impostado, weight has always been an issue. He's down now to 170 kilos from nearly 200.
The way this guy said it with his chest. McDonald's for breakfast, McDonald's for lunch, McDonald's for dinner. Just with his chest. Wow. He said it with his chest, but he didn't say in like as if he was proud of it. He was like, listen, I've just had to do this, man. You haven't though. You really haven't. And do you know what though? McDonald's do have some slightly healthy options. Slightly. Not dramatically, slightly. People just don't look at them because they're too busy thinking about the burgers and everything else that they come and everything else that you can get from McDonald's. But it is what it is.
It's been a difficult challenge for his family to endure.
But then again, I realize McDonald's could be different in here. You know, McDonald's in the UK is different to the States. I know it is. No, it is. So, yeah, you know it is. Yeah.
We see an internal medicine doctor who has a plan that we can go to, and but you know the prescriptions that he really needs we can't afford, and the specialists we can't afford to see, the kidney specialist, and so it's not a good situation.
I don't want to be the fat guy that was just another typical fat guy who died, and well, we loved him. I wish he would have lost weight. He would have been skinny, and he would have lived. I don't want to be that guy.
Don has reached the point with Sidney because he believes an operation that would constrict his stomach with a band may be his best hope. But no insurance company will give him coverage because his obesity is considered a pre-existing condition.
Wow.
You know, it is a radical approach, but if he can't get it...
You know what, though? It's crazy. Yeah, this is 10 years ago. Look at this guy 10 years ago. Let's look at Amber Lynn 8 years ago. This guy doesn't look obese compared to, you know what I'm saying? Jesus, man. I actually question what is obesity. What weight do you get to or what size do you get to? Because for me, I would have said this guy was just fat. You know what I mean? I don't know if I would have gone down the line of obesity, but I think that's probably because recently I've been exposed to just looking at Amber Lynn Reid, you know what I mean? Or Foodie Beauty or the super size versus super skinny, you know what I mean? So we see really big people, you know. This kid, he's a big kid, you know what I mean? But obesity, I would have never really seen it coming. But I guess it's just I've been exposed to a certain size for the last couple of weeks, months, you know what I mean? But yeah.
Soon his body will not be strong enough to even have that done.
Don and Sidney aren't alone. Consider the facts. 2 out of every 3 Americans are overweight. And that number is expected to rise to 3 out of 4 by 2020. The United
by
States
20, by 20, did you say my man say by 2020? Hold on.
Americans are overweight. And that number is expected to rise to 3 out of 4 by 2020.
Wow, he actually by 2020 as well. It's actually crazy if we were 10 years on. I wonder if they've done an updated video. I'll have to check out on the channel to see if there's an updated video, you know what I mean? Because boy, probably isn't, but the question is, do you guys, I mean, you guys in America may know this, you know what I mean? Okay, has it risen since then? Let me know. You might know this.
The United States is the world's fattest developed nation, with an obesity rate double of that of many European countries.
Wow.
1 in 3 Americans is expected to have diabetes by 2050. Minorities have been even more profoundly affected. Blacks have a 50% higher prevalence of obesity, and Hispanics 25% higher when compared with whites.
Wow. Let me hear that again. Let me just slow it down though so we can get that clear word in there.
Minorities have been even more profoundly affected. Blacks have a 50% higher prevalence of obesity, and Hispanics 25% higher when compared with whites.
Wow.
So how did it get this way?
What are black people doing, man? What's Hispanics doing, man? Nah, you all need to chew on your food, man. I don't know what black Americans are doing, African Americans are doing, or Hispanic Americans, you know what I mean? But boy, you need to rein it down a little bit, you know? But I guess it's just a simple excuse of, I can't afford this and that, da. Nah, I can't take money as an excuse. I refuse, I can't do it. No way, Jose. Listen, I started gaining muscle and all sorts, you know, on no money, basically. Just what I'm saying. Deep that. Listen, man. I mean, and honestly, like back in the day as well. Do you know what? Let me talk about. You know what? When we do the podcast on Monday, I mean on Saturday. Sorry, okay. We'll go into this a little bit because this kind of goes down to what I've been going through with obviously my mental health. You know what I'm saying? But we'll talk about it then. You know what I mean? So yeah. You understand why I say money ain't a thing. But let's get it.
Obesity rates have been going up very rapidly in the United States, but really only since about 1980. Before that, they were constant for decades. A change in the way our federal agriculture policy worked, which went from paying farmers not to grow food to paying farmers to grow as much food as they possibly could. And the result of that was an enormous increase in the amount of food available.
I'm not gonna lie, I've never seen a McDonald's sign flash like that in the UK. I've never seen a McDonald's sign that flashes at all. Wow, man, they really promoting that McDonald's in America, aren't they? Wow. And from what I understand, there is a fast food place every 15 minutes in America when you're driving around. Every 15 minutes. I know. I think they said there's a McDonald's every 15 minutes, but I'm gonna change it to a fast food in case I'm wrong. That's crazy. And if that's true, let me know in the comment section. Let's go.
In the country for consumption.
Portion sizes went up as well. Fast food servings are 2 to 5 times what they used to be. This is the signature Burger King store in Times Square, New York. This particular meal has somewhere around 3,600 calories. Look at this. It would take around 18 hours of exercise to burn off this many calories.
That looks like a pizza, a burger pizza.
I still remember there was a Coke machine in the teacher's lounge of my elementary school, and it had these itty bitty little bottles. I think they probably were 8-ounce bottles of Coke. And now, I mean, it's the average portion that you see if you went into like a convenience store would probably be a 20-ounce bottle that's sold as a single serving.
American food policy doesn't happen in isolation. There are many moving parts that make up a complex puzzle. Large government agencies, multinational corporations, and of course lobbyists who try to shape the country's food policy as it comes out of Washington.
For government to try to force changes, to dictate to consumers in a free society what they do is there's not a good record of that being successful.
All of this goes back to Congress. And if you want to do something about public health in America, what you really need to do is to change election campaign laws so that these big corporations aren't paying for congressional elections. That's the source of corruption in American government.
Okay.
2 out of every 3 food stores in Harlem is what's known as a bodega. Now, these aren't grocery stores. They're more like corner convenience stores. So rather than having fresh meat and fresh vegetables, they tend to have a lot of processed foods, sugary foods, and especially sodas.
The city of New York has identified...
That's exactly the same in the UK. Exactly the same. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, honestly, it's near enough impossible to go into a corner shop, you know, off license. We call it. You guys call it a convenience store. We call it off license. You know what I mean? And to find something healthy in there, it's next to none. And you know what though? This one here has even got a little food selection at the front. We don't even have that in a licensed store in the UK. You know what I'm saying? Jeez.
Sodas and other sugar-sweetened beverages is one of the main causes of obesity. In an attempt to improve health and decrease consumption, the city has requested a 2-year ban on allowing recipients of food stamps, or SNAP, to purchase the drinks.
The SNAP program is really not designed to purchase a person's entire diet, but it's designed to give them more money so that they can afford nutritious foods.
Which they don't do.
I don't think anyone in this country would argue that sugar-sweetened beverages are nutritious foods.
While the request is being considered by the Department of Agriculture, the beverage industry is fighting back.
It'll add $5 to these drinks. That's not pennies, that's serious money.
New York has fought a similar battle once before and lost when it tried to implement a soda tax earlier this year.
We can't afford no to the beverage tax.
The American Beverage Association spent more than $10 million on their ad campaign defeating the bill.
People are entitled to treat themselves at a certain level.
But are they entitled to treat themselves with government money?
By
as
all
opposed
means,
to their own money?
By all means, because soda is not the sole culprit of obesity. And if you're going to pinpoint what are the culprits of obesity, we're going to have to eliminate maybe 60% of the products we sell in supermarkets today.
What about people say, great, eliminate them?
Well, then you have to do that across the board. But the American food landscape is going to be totally different than what we know it today.
One drink for sale at the supermarket is Chubby.
I'll let you boys and girls have your comment on that statement itself, you know what I'm saying? So get typing down below, you know what I mean? Let's keep it going.
Ordered from the Caribbean, the manufacturer of the drink boasts that it was developed to target children, and that it fits snugly in the palm of a child's hand. The U.S. has no rules or laws that prevent a soda from being marketed to children. Industry backers like it that way.
An exciting new category in the soft drink industry was created when Chubby was developed to target children.
That's a terrible idea. But I mean, when was the last time you were able to see little Chubbies? First of all,
Here's little Chubbies. It's bought in Washington, D.C.
I'm not going to defend. I'm not going to defend little Chubbies. This is the kind of poor practice that shouldn't be occurring.
Should it be regulated?
Should it be regulated?
Yeah, it's about 7 donuts worth of sugar in there.
Wow.
So, see, it doesn't.
They don't put the nutritional.
7 donuts worth of sugar in that. Get out of here, man. Nah, get out of here with this behavior, man.
Information on the bottle.
Oh, well, then it's on the container if it's on the package. Otherwise, it's not legal to be sold in the United States. I don't know where you got it.
Tell me about it. I've got that in Washington, D.C.
Okay, well, I suspect you should probably
But you can
call
get
the
their
company.
nutritional information off their website.
Okay.
30 to 34 grams of sugar, depending on the flavor.
I'm just not going to defend it. That's a terrible practice.
Should it be regulated?
Should it be regulated?
Should children be protected from that?
Protected. That's what parents are for.
Many Americans,
yo,
economic times have never been-
yo, I like that guy. I like that guy. That's what parents are for. Come on, man. Listen, when it comes to weight, it starts for some people. It just starts. For some people, it's something they do later on in life due to depression or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that's on them. But people who've been big since childhood, you know what I mean, till all the way to teenage years, and then hopefully then lost it later on, parents. The ones that have been big since kids and still big now, parents. You dig what I'm saying? Nah, listen, I feel him on that one, man. That's what parents are for. Should know when to limit what their child should be eating. Without a freaking doubt. If you dig what, come on, man. That's exactly what parents are for. I don't like it when parents neglect their kids by giving them food just to keep them quiet. Why? Why? Got me all vexed in that. No, man. We're ready to go. No. Listen, let's keep it going, man. Let's calm down, people. Let's calm down. Let's keep it going. Come on now. Jesus.
Worse. But for fast food companies, they've never been better. While 1 in 8 Americans rely on food stamps, the stocks of Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, Kentucky Fried Chicken, and McDonald's are at all-time highs. For consumers, stretching their
there's a McDonald's Express. We don't have that down here. A McDonald's Express. Are you actually for real? What the hell do you get from McDonald's Express? Someone let me know. What's that about? What's the difference? Oh, come on, man. You're slapping me in the face.
Session dollars to buy healthy food has been tough. Especially when chains like Little Caesars offer a large pizza for only $5. Or the McDonald's McDouble. Their double cheeseburger goes for just $1.
Your mother gives you $5. You want to make that stretch, you understand? You're going to McDonald's, you're getting a McDouble, and you're getting you some fries. And then you're going to go to the store and get you something to drink. And that way you still have at least $1 or $2 to maybe buy you some chips a little later.
Growing up, I had home economics in school, and so they taught you what a healthy plate looked like. You had a starch, a protein, a vegetable, and I think that's the information that children don't have. And because they see in their environment unhealthy food, and they see it's cheaper, it's being consumed by everybody, they don't think about an alternative. But if you gave them the education, maybe they would have the information to make the alternative choice, the healthier choice.
Are you ready? I think if I relate to myself as a child, I wanted the sweets and the drinks because they were advertised so freaking well. They were colorful. First of all, as a kid, colors excite you. You walk into a store, you see a little drink that's orange, that's red, that's pink, blue. You're like, whoa, I want some of that. And then you go read it. It says cherry. Cherry? It says bubblegum. Bubblegum? What? Do you see what I'm saying? So I know as a child, you know, it is 100%. I agree with the part of that kids need to be educated. Yes, completely. I get that. But apart from that, you know, honestly, the biggest influence for a child to want to have something is because of the color. Honestly, that's one of them. Color is definitely one of them. You know what I mean? Okay. And also just what they see on TV. The way they advertise these things on TV is incredible. You know what I mean? Incredible in, I guess, in a good way for them, but in a bad way for kids. You know what I mean? That's why kids sometimes have no teeth. Boy. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Really up-tempo song.
At the Thurgood Marshall Lower Academy, an elementary school on 151st Street,
Everybody get your beatboxes ready!
an experiment is underway to fight back against the array of bad food choices in the community. Dr. Olajide Williams is a neurologist at Harlem Hospital. He's developed a program that harnesses the power of hip-hop music to teach children about healthy food choices.
Hip-hop is a social epidemic amongst the youth. Hip-hop is the life form amongst the youth.
You know what, though? Listen, schools, I mean, listen, in the UK, you know, we do our best to teach kids about healthy eating. You know what I mean? We do it on a daily basis. Well, not on a daily basis, but we do it on a yearly basis, right? And yes, of course, schools should definitely be teaching kids about healthy food. But the problem is that schools, what teachers do or people that come into school to teach kids about healthy food doesn't actually matter. And when I say it doesn't actually matter, I'm not saying it doesn't matter completely. What I mean is, if you teach a kid, remember, kids don't have money, right? They have to get money off their parents. If you teach a kid that you should be having this and having less of this, they can go home and tell mommy and daddy, oh, I want this and that. Mommy and daddy will turn around and say, yeah, but that's more expensive, so you're going to have what you're given. What's a child supposed to do then? You see what I'm saying? So it's more important that the parents are on board with the fact that children should be learning what they can eat and what they can eat and learning about how much they can eat and obviously how to balance out with our healthy stuff. Do you see what I'm saying? But obviously kids obviously deserve to have some treats, everyone deserves to have treats, have the sweet stuff. Why not? But to balance out is where the problem is. You know what I mean? So it's frustrating for someone that works in a school to see that when you try and teach your kids something, they go home and the parents reverse it. And the parents always going to have more power than you. You know what I mean? Or within that moment in time, some people are lucky. Later on in life, they realize that, hold on a minute, Mr. Da-da-da-da-da was saying da-da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? This has got me vexed, man. I keep kissing my teeth. I keep tight.
There are ranges on the menu board, there are inches and sizes, and it's very, very complicated.
And we also would like you to take the messages that you've learned in our Hip Hop Meals program to your parents, to your grandparents, to your friends and your family members.
The ones that don't listen.
About calories.
Dr. Williams knows that the odds are stacked against him. Nearly half the children in Harlem are overweight or obese.
Yep.
This message has to beat out a well-oiled, well-funded fast food
So
industry.
if you're from Harlem, is that still the same? Let me know. In fact, anywhere in America, is that still the same? And to be fair, wherever you are in the world right now, is it like that where you are too?
They spent $4.2 billion on advertising last year.
We are up against an incredible enemy, for lack of a better word. Fast food industry makes money.
TMALS, stop us headed.
We are one little small program trying to make a difference in our city, one block at a time, one street at a time, one neighborhood at a time. If we can succeed here in Harlem, we can pretty much succeed in any tough neighborhood across the world.
I mean, listen, but for me personally, I wouldn't necessarily put the problem down to necessarily fast food companies because business is business, right? You know what I mean? We can't avoid people wanting to make profit from their business. It's the parents, you know what I mean? The adults around these children and adults around themselves, you know what I mean? Like in general, forget children, also adults themselves, It's up to you to make the right choices for your life. That's the bottom line.
It's Media Day at the White House, and journalists from around the world are clamoring to see Michelle Obama's kitchen garden.
Oh, wow. What? Obama and Michelle this was 10 years ago now. You're lying. Yo, time has flown, What? Time has flew. But yeah, anyway, let's go on. Yeah, flew. My bad, not flown. Let's keep it going.
Decided to make healthy eating and exercise the centerpiece of her role as First Lady.
We have to eliminate food deserts in this country, and we need to do it now.
You don't need to travel far from the White House, just a few miles, to find what Michelle Obama describes as a food desert. Plenty of liquor stores, but no fresh food. Southeast DC has one of the worst obesity rates in the country.
The food that you put in your body can either heal you or kill you.
She's beautiful,
On a Saturday
man.
morning, the Ward 8 Farmers Market is a small oasis in an otherwise barren food landscape.
Know what you're doing now.
Yes.
Lauren Vanderpool, a Washington, D.C. native and vegan chef, is giving a demonstration, teaching residents how to make a raw food salad.
So, this is a raw food dish. And now, raw foods are good because when you cook your foods, a lot of times the enzymes and the nutrients are released into the water.
I was born in Washington, D.C. I was raised in a food desert, and people just don't know. People just don't know. They haven't been exposed. They haven't left the Southeast.
We're done.
I respect this hustle, man.
They're used to what they've been exposed to. And what they've been exposed to is liquor stores, corner stores, and carryouts. Chicken wings with mumbo sauce, hot chips with blue juices. If all else fails you and you can't find the small jugs of the blue juice, we always have access to the gallon of the blue juice.
Bloody
That's a
hell.
gallon of blue juice.
Snow Mountain.
Artificially colored and artificially flavored.
How would you describe the health of people who live in environments like this?
Where we are right now in D.C., which is Southeast, Ward 8, is statistically the most obese place in the country.
Wow.
There's something wrong with that being in the nation's capital, something extremely wrong with that. What I
Is that still the same now? Please let me know.
is that when you're eating foods and there are no nutrients in it, you're going to want to eat more because your body is not recognizing the nutrients that you're needing. So you're going to keep on eating. Your body's intelligence says, well, let me keep on eating to try to get some of these nutrients, but you're not getting any of it because you're eating fried foods, you're eating dead foods, you're eating foods that have no life.
This is the United States Department of Agriculture, or USDA. It represents the American food industry, everything from small farmers to chain restaurants. And in doing so, it helps them sell more food. But it also puts out the dietary guidelines for Americans. And for a nation facing an obesity epidemic, eating less food could be the only way out. So how can this one department represent these conflicting interests?
The USDA, whose historic role has been to promote American agribusiness, is now also in the position of promoting healthful diets. And that was never a problem before obesity became a problem. It was only when dietary advice needed to change to encourage people to eat less that the USDA came into conflict. And those conflicts have played out over the years.
Can you give an example?
Well, the dietary guidelines for Americans, which is the advice that the government gives people about what to eat, it never says eat less of anything.
I worked very hard on setting up the first review process for those to be sure that scientific authorities were calling the shots.
John Bodie was the Assistant Secretary of Agriculture for Food and Consumer Services during the 1980s. Now he's a lobbyist representing clients like Kraft Foods and McDonald's. This was known as the revolving door between the food industry and the government agencies meant to regulate it. For example, Michael Taylor was an executive at the agricultural giant Monsanto before taking a senior post at the Food and Drug Administration. Or Catherine Wotecki, who left the USDA in 2001 and later joined Mars, the candy company that makes Skittles and M&Ms, and then was brought back by President Obama this year to the USDA.
And so the revolving door, that causes some concern. That's understandable. The notion that our government officials would one day be a government official and the next day basically selling their influence. And so stepping out for a year, I think that makes good sense. And those restrictions,
I mean, don't you still have the
those
relationships?
restrictions have been extended, and so they're now longer.
They're now longer.
Yeah.
What do you know they are now?
I'm sorry, I don't feel comfortable trying to recite what they are now.
Listen up, America. The Cheesy Bites Pizza is back.
In 2007, Pizza Hut came out with Cheesy Bites Pizza. As you'd expect, it's high in calories and saturated fat. What you may not suspect is that some of the support for it came from a surprising source, a trade group overseen by the USDA.
Is there a conflict of interest when you're representing the cheese industry and you're representing the nutritional interest of Americans?
Well, I wouldn't presume to speak to that because that's not my particular area of expertise. I will tell you that the Food and Nutrition Service, a part of USDA that tries to encourage healthy eating in a school setting, has never taken it more seriously than we do today.
We pressed Julie Paradis about this several times.
Okay, I'm just not going to be able to answer that hard question.
Today, the USDA is celebrating the opening of a salad bar at an elementary school in Washington, D.C.
Looks
it's
nice.
in the right direction for a school system that has one of the highest obesity rates in the country. 43% of the students here are either obese or overweight.
This is very, very atypical of what you see in the school system. Mostly it's processed, high in sugar food.
Cahal Armstrong is an executive chef and owner of a local 4-star restaurant. He took an interest in school food when the White House chef personally asked him to make a visit.
Yeah, we visited Tyler Elementary on Capitol Hill, and we went into the cafeteria and went into the refrigerators and the freezer, and inside the freezer they had this box of turkey sandwiches, and it's turkey sandwich for breakfast, and it had about 100 ingredients in it. We were so shocked I took a photograph of the ingredients that were on the label.
Wait, turkey sandwiches like meat?
Wow.
Meat and bread, the last time I checked, and bread has 4 ingredients, sometimes 5. So then the kids...
Why do they do this?
It makes the food cheaper.
Ed Brusky was shocked at what he found when he volunteered in his
It's not good, is it? It's just not good, is it? It's really not good, no. And one thing that I want to say is that I feel like the government should be funding schools more money for healthy eating. You know what I mean? Because the money that schools get funded now, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna retract that because I don't know if it's because the money that they get from the government isn't enough, or it's because the fact that a lot of schools get money from the government and they don't actually use all of it on the schools. Some of them they, you know what I'm saying? So. Yeah, there's another problem there, you know what I mean?
Elementary school cafeteria.
So I went in and expecting to see food cooked from scratch, and here comes all these frozen beef crumbles and tater tots.
Ed started taking pictures of the food for a new blog so that parents could see what their kids were eating. It was mostly processed food. That's partially because the USDA diverts raw excess food to large companies that return it to schools in the form of patties, pizzas, and nuggets.
It's all about money and the so-called value-added products where corporations can somehow get between you and real farm products and whip it into something that they can make money off of. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. Our health versus their money. What do you suppose it is?
Seeds.
Ed works part-time at a private school in Washington, teaching children how to cook and enjoy food. He's seen real changes in the D.C. public school system. Less sugary foods and more fruits and vegetables.
My feeling is school food is important because we're perpetuating a culture of junk food that is literally making kids sick.
Literally, yeah.
The U.S. government says the current generation could be the first in history to have a shorter lifespan than their parents.
Wow.
The forces driving the obesity spike in America may be complex, but they're not unknown. The question is, who's profiting from the current situation? Clearly, not the children.
I think it comes down to money, and I think it's a complicated, multi-layered problem, and I think it's something that's perpetuated itself throughout the years, especially for people of color. To be in a very poor urban area is not exactly a choice. Your money dictates that you need to live there. And the same thing with what you buy to eat. You buy within your means.
The economics of our food structure are
I mean, I'll leave it, man. I'll leave that. Boy. Listen, man, I mean, listen, you know, I just don't see financials as an excuse to eat unhealthy, you know what I mean, personally. I mean, for me, I'm someone that believes in knowing how to manage your money, something that I'm very good at doing, you know what I mean? And I find it hard to have sympathy in that kind of area, to be honest with you, unless someone can tell me a really good reason why, you know, they financially couldn't afford something because they had to do this, and that, do you see what I'm saying? Then I can maybe understand, you know what I mean? Doesn't mean I'll agree, but I can understand. But boy, I'm speaking for someone that came from, you know, not having much money, you know what I'm saying, and having to starve and all that kind of stuff, you know what I'm saying, and I still found a way. But that's just the resilience in me, you know what I mean? I'll find a way. But let's get it. But you know, but I'm not saying that, you know. Never mind.
Against public health. I mean, you almost couldn't have designed a worse environment where you take your least healthy products, things that are high in sugar and fat and salt and highly processed, and you make them significantly less expensive than your most healthy products.
And a lot of families are just in that financial situation where cheap food is so heavily subsidized, so falsely inexpensive, that they just don't know any better, you know?
But you know what though? Do you know what really knocks me off, right? How people can afford to get takeaways, but they can't afford to buy a week's shop of healthy food. I can promise you now, a week's shop of healthy food is cheaper than a takeaway. Because a takeaway is something, let's say for example, if you buy pizza from Domino's or Pizza Hut in the UK, right, you're probably spending about 20 quid, okay? Somewhere between 10 and 20 quid, depending on how you're going about it, especially if it's delivery, right? But if I go to the shop, I could buy some healthy products, you know what I'm saying, some healthy foods, right, for around 10 to 20 pounds, right, okay? And it will last me the week, if not at least between 4 to 7 days, do you know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, you spend £10 or 20 pounds, you know what I mean, okay, on just that pizza or whatever, yeah? How long is it going to last you? It's going to last you one night. And even if you have it the next day, it's, do you see what I'm saying? That's why the financial thing, I just can't connect with it, you know? Because it all comes down to how people are using their monies. And to be honest with you, I just don't feel like people, you know, can always not use their monies, you know what I mean? But again, everyone comes from a different society, a different path in life, a different society in life. So, you know, you have your reasons, which I can never contest. I can never argue with them. Do you know what I'm saying? But I can sit there and say, well, but I found a way. But I'm sure we all want those things. And when people say them, we're like, we understand, but we found a way. You know what I mean? This is one of those things for me.
I'll tell you, once they find out what we've done with their food system, what we're doing to their children, hopefully they'll be up in arms about it.
Well, there we go, people. Now that was one hell of a documentary. Fast foods, fat profits, obesity in America, fault lines. And you know what, people, that was something else, you know. But listen, boys and girls, I said everything that I needed to say. To be fair, I could say some more, but boy, I'll be here for a long time. So I'll leave it as that. And we can definitely touch base on this topic as well anyway, come Saturday, to be fair with you, you know what I mean? But end of the day, people, thank you so much for coming through. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. 8K, please, people, by the end of the week if we can. Nonetheless, smash the like button and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Peace.